Alright, you guys. A little bit different of a video here. I've been watching some Sanctified Leather and EDC. And he's been coming out with Word of the Day. And I think that video posted 6 days ago. And I know Brother Randy had talked about his Word of the Day, and I kind of wanted to, I had something on my mind, and of course I got my camouflage leather Bible. It's an NIV, pretty good version. So whatever version you have is the best. I don't have I go from one to the next to the other and vice versa. But I've settled on my NIV because that's what my church has. So today I'm going to be reading out of Titus. We find that Titus is only 3 chapters long. And in Titus, Paul had actually wrote this letter to Titus. Most of the New Testament was written by Paul. And so, as we learn things, most of this relates back to just common sense. A lot of people nowadays are having trouble with common sense. And this here is kind of a generational thing that I'm going to be talking about. Of course, in the later part of this, in chapter 2, of course we won't read into that, but it says, "You, however, must teach what is appropriate to sound doctrine." So Paul has written to Titus, and he's telling him, you have to be true to sound doctrine. That's the Bible. And then he kind of switches gears in the second verse. So teach older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, sound in faith, in love and endurance. So that sounds pretty easy, but this is to the older guy. This is to the guys that are my, like, what would be my father's age, my grandfather's age. To be worthy of respect, that's pretty easy, right? Be self-controlled. Now sometimes that's a little hard, but self-respect is a mind thing. The sound in faith, you have to have faith. There's a whole lot of stuff before Titus in the Bible. And Titus is pretty close to the end of the Bible. So, you have a whole lot to learn from that. But also in love and endurance. Love is a thing of the heart. So you go from the mind to the heart. And endurance, you can't just give up on things. Give up on life. You have to keep going. You have to keep doing it. But in verse 3 here, it says, "Likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live, not to be slanderers, or addicted to much wine, but to teach what is good. Then they can urge the younger women, and that's, you know, part of it, to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled. You know, that's kind of the same thing that they were teaching the men. To be pure and to be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subjects to their husbands, so that no one will malign the word of God. So, we'll go over that a little bit. So at the time in Crete, you know, this is where this was kind of going. Crete, the place. We kind of get the idea that, you know, the women, the older women, were kind of wild. To be slanderers, you know, it's kind of like a gossipy thing, you know, to gossip. To be addicted to much wine, so, you know, they like to party. But to teach what is good, so that's kind of the same, you know, we'll find out later on in this, that, you know, that's kind of the same thing. To teach what is good to the younger. Similarly, encourage the young men to be self-controlled. So that's kind of, you know, I would kind of think that would be charged to both older men and women. In everything, set them an example by doing what is good. So I'm to the age now where I have a younger generation under me. You know, if I didn't set the good example, then there wouldn't be good. You know, it would just continue to fall downward. You know, we see a whole lot of that in today's society because nobody fears God anymore. Nobody takes God seriously, and we kind of see the repercussions of that now, taking into account all the things that are happening now, 2024. You know, even then, it was the same problems then. So we can learn from that. In your teaching, show integrity and seriousness. So, you know, if you're going to teach somebody, do it with integrity and seriousness. You know, if it's a serious matter, be serious. And soundness of speech that cannot be condemned. So, you know, speak the truth. Do what's right. So that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing bad to say about us. And that kind of ends my rant on that. But the older men and the older women teach the following generations. You have to teach them to be good and do good. If there's no one teaching good things and being good and doing good, then we have a faltering generation. And that just goes right on down the line because, you know, if one generation does it, the next does it, and the next does it. You know, and the first part of that, let's see if I can flip back to that. But in the first part of that, I want to read it again. They teach the older men to be temperate, worthy of respect, self-controlled, sound in faith and in love and endurance. So, have a little bit of self-respect. Be self-controlled. Be sound in your faith. And love, love is a thing of the heart. Jesus changes your heart. To love one another, to be that self-respecting person that has endurance to go the long run for Jesus. And that's kind of what all it boils down to. But it's pretty easy stuff. I think most of the guys that are in this knife community and all the things that we kind of do and send out, and it shows love, and endurance is up to you. But that's kind of my word for the day. It's a little bit different. We'll see how many views this gets. And I think I'm going to do this maybe once a week if it does good. So we'll see how it goes. Remember, God bless. Live life outdoors.